Let us move into our debate of the week. I didn't tee this up at all. I forgot to tee it up in the beginning. So you're finding out right now what we're going to talk about. So today's debate, which is not going to be the I take one side, Albert takes the other. We're just going to have a discussion. Today's debate is to snivel or not to snivel.
Are we, though? Are we going to talk about sniveling?
Yeah.
I'm trying to snivel right now. This is
I see. You're sniveling.
Yeah.
So what is to snivel? So this is a term in our gaming group that I'm not sure if other gaming groups have, but we call it the sniveler. And it comes from Cosmic Encounter. So Cosmic Encounter is an asymmetrical, crazy, chaotic game. And you always play as different characters who have different game-breaking powers. And the power of the sniveler in Cosmic Encounter is, I will just read it, you have the power to whine. As a main player, before allies are invited, if you have the most ships in the warp, have the fewest foreign colonies of any player, or lack any encounter card you want, just to translate, that means you're losing, you may use this power to whine about it. If you whine about your ships, either all other players must agree to let you retrieve all your ships from the warp, or if possible, they must each place ships into the warp until each matches your number there. If you whine about colonies, the other players must agree to let you have one extra foreign colony of your choice, or they each lose one foreign colony of their choice, returning their ships to their other colonies. If you whine about cards, you name a card you don't have. Either one player must give you a card, or all players must discard all such cards in their hands. Whine only once per encounter. So the whiner, the sniveler, has the power to just say, I'm not doing as good as you. Even it out.
Yeah.
Make sure that I'm either winning or that you're losing.
And so that's Cosmic Encounter is known for its wildly asymmetrical powers. This is a great example of that. But the way this actually visits into normal game space is that sometimes you are not having a good game.
Yeah.
Sometimes you are having a suboptimum experience, and sometimes you're just having an emotional day. You just need this.
Yeah.
This is where the sniveler comes in, both in the metagame fashion where maybe it isn't earned, and sometimes it's completely earned. Sometimes we are playing for reasons that aren't just for the beauty and purity of the game. Sometimes we're playing for an emotional release, and sometimes it seems arbitrary. It seems almost like somebody is hurting your feelings in game space.
Well, I'm really excited to talk about sniveling because I think it is a huge part of gaming.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it as a total negative. I'm not saying sniveling is negative. I'm saying it is unavoidable. We are human beings. We are not robots. We're sitting at a game in which there are winners and losers. If you are an empathetic human being, you are going to start noticing how winning or losing affects other people at the table.
Yeah.
And often, whether even you're conscious of it or not, sniveling might start manipulating the way that you play. If you notice someone isn't having fun, or if you realize that to do this would really ruin someone's game, and you know how they're going to react to it, even if it's not going to be upset or sad, that it's just going to like bum them out or make them have a little less of fun, you might find yourself pumping the brakes a little bit and maybe not taking that move. Now, a lot of players listening to this will be just going, no. We always play to win. Everybody's cool with that. No feelings are getting hurt. I understand. And I agree with you. That should be sort of the main way. But even when you're playing like that, everybody's still aware. Like sniveling is an element in every game group, whether you want it there or not. And it has a purpose.
Well,
and this is where the humanity enters into board games.
And let me draw a bright line in this. Say you're playing a game where you can see clearly the other board state that's going on, and you see how somebody is building towards their victory. Now there is the kind of game where you notice that somebody's building towards something and they have not said a word about about their victory condition, but you can tell it's happening, and you pump the brakes because you don't want them to necessarily. You both maybe want to earn your own victory by the way you're playing, but you also are maybe just you don't want to ruin someone's game by taking an action that is just purely antagonistic. Right? That is not a snivel situation in my mind. That is a situation where you are taking into account the board state, taking into account your own gameplay, taking into account the game group and the meta, and you are making a decision potentially that helps someone's game, but without them necessarily asking. Now, there is the opposite where somebody's building towards something. I've been in this position myself, and I both will make an argument for and against sniveling, but there's kind of moment where you are building towards something and somebody makes a decision that is irrational in your mind. Mm-hmm. You don't know why they did that. They are doing it just to get your goat.
It doesn't help them at all. It just hurts you.
And a lot of these games have this built in. There's a PvP aspect. There's a player versus player where maybe they don't have a better move and they're just wildly picking, and they're picking a move that just really destroys your game.
Yeah.
And you are forced into that situation to either be quiet and see your game unfold completely from a totally irrational, arbitrary kind of decision, or you can say something. And usually that's saying something, no matter if it's the most polite or if it is the most egregious form of public weeping. That is a snivel.
Yeah.
You are sniveling.
Yeah. Well, and now we get into the interesting part of sniveling.
Yeah.
Because sniveling is also a totally viable strategy for winning.
Oh God, yeah, so icky right there, but it's so true.
Sniveling is in every game, and is I'm going to say it again for the people in the back, is a totally viable strategy for winning. There is no rule book in the world that says it's not allowed, and thus it is. There is no social norms that say it's not allowed. No, sniveling is not. It's not actually sniveling. It can be body language. It can be strategic metagaming. It can be, you know what? I'm in last place right now. That's not helping you in order to do that. I think if you want to win, you need to attack Tom. Tom's in lead right now. I think
this is we're only using Tom because this is
Tom is in the lead right now. You're doing an action that only hurts me right now. I understand that it's an action that helps you, but there are other actions that will help you and also hurt Tom. That's what you're sniveling.
Yeah, that's
sniveling. A form of sniveling.
Totally.
But you're also helping your game state. And you are metagaming. So we often say in this game, one of our sort of catchphrases is metagame harder. So, often someone will realize that they have something bad has happened to them, and it will be because another player has used negotiation in order to get a better result for themselves. And you will turn to that person and they'll look at you and go, "Oh, and you go, metagame harder." Yeah. It's not necessarily the friendliest thing. You only do it with close friends. But usually metagame harder is the result of a well-played snivel.
I will say, though, in the defense of the well-played snivel, there is a lot of these games where
my favorite Dr. Seuss novel, by the way, the well-played snivel.
You aren't necessarily, you kind of know that you're not going to win. And not to say that there is always clear distinctions, but a lot of these games you are king making. You are in second or third or fourth place and you are king making somehow. You are making decisions in the space. And so this kind of idea that you are just at being antagonistic through the snivel, it isn't always the case. Sometimes you are literally playing your best game by being vocal. There's a lot of games where you're kind of in a solitary situation. You're looking at your own board and you're kind of unaware. Sometimes the snivel is just telling somebody what the actual game that's happening, because the first player is like head down, trying to be as quiet as possible, trying to be in stealth mode to like coast into victory.
Jesse mode, sorry.
And thusly, you need to point out kind of what's happening in the game. And that is a form of sniveling. That is a form of metagaming. But it can be very much your role in the game is to elucidate what is happening in the game.
Right.
To somebody who is maybe not realizing what's going on with that first player who is about to crest off and have his super combo move and end the game two rounds early and all this stuff. Your job is to literally be like, that person's about to do that, but that is a form of sniveling, and it is a form of an emotional outburst or outcall, because you are definitely not flipping their die or forcing them to do something.
Who are the top snivelers in our group?
Me.
No, you are not.
I feel
you're not a top sniveler. You're a sniveler, but you're not a top sniveler. Look, are we going to say?
Can we do this with love? Can we do this with love?
We can. Look, sniveling is valid. Sniveling is not somebody like, I think the way where you hear the word sniveler and you talk about whining, it's not that. We don't have any players in our group who go like, don't do that to me. Like we don't like that's.
That's the thing is I've done that. I feel like
it's much more subtle, and it's usually backed up with strategy. It's usually backed up with you making a case for why that's not an optimal move for somebody. That's sniveling. It's sniveling to say, don't do that to me. Anytime you're saying don't do that to me, you're sniveling.
I'm going to differentiate. There's two forms of sniveling that I want to just call out real quick. There is the snivel where you snivel hard and you win the game.
Yeah.
And that's messed up. That is tough, because no matter how you do it, there is a point where you've swung so hard, and that even if you didn't mean to, when you win out of that, it's definitely an asterisk next to that victory, because you won under special conditions.
And you won't get it again.
Okay, so Dimitri, he can really snivel hard.
Trey snivels.
Trey snivels. You can snivel.
See, I snivel. I definitely.
Tom can snivel.
Tom. When Tom, this is what Tom Snivel sounds like. Well, yeah, I guess. I guess I'm not having a great game. That's a Tom Snivel.
That's a Tom Snivel.
Perfect
but
Tom
also,
Snivel
Tom
impression.
going flush red is also an interesting snivel.
Oh yeah.
When he gets really emotionally involved in the game, because usually he's cool as a cucumber.
Yeah. When Trey starts tearing apart the design of the game, that's a snivel.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like this.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Dimitri gets visibly upset.
When Dimitri threatens to leave the room.
Yeah. That's
period.
a snivel.
That's a snivel.
Yeah.
I will say I snivel. Paul, not so much, but
Paul does some sniveling.
I've seen.
Here's Paul's snivel. Well, I've definitely lost the game. I'm already out of this game. Well, okay. I am not having a good game here, guys. Those are all forms of sniveling. Where everyone in the player goes like, "Oh, he's having a hard time. Okay, maybe we should pump the brakes on him a little bit."
Now, this would be a little too early to call. I feel like Elder is not a sniveler. I
have seen no sniveling from Elder.
And Jake is an angel.
Jake has never sniveled. Jake does not snivel. Jake just goes like, "Oh, you guys are good at this game."
I mean, and to Jake's defense, like oftentimes these are like first times playing. He could snivel so much.
Yeah.
He would get away. He's just such a.
Well, hold on. Just by being the casual player,
yeah,
that is a snivel. Wow. Because everybody at the table knows that he's not as good at these games and that it's not nice to beat up on the noob. So just being a noob is a silent snivel.
So who I think snivels the hardest though? Jesse.
Really?
Jesse. In the best way though, because he has
Jesse Snivel is saying that he wasn't taught properly.
Yeah, but I also think he's just really good actor. He really controls his like body language and his space.
That's funny. I don't think of Jesse as a sniveler, honestly. I don't.
That's great. Yeah. But also I was going to say for the Jake condition, that's a special thing because he's an old friend of yours and you know him as a noob, and I don't think of him that way. He just has less plays. I play him. You see, he didn't mention this before, but we play Words with Friends, and he routinely takes me to the.
Oh no, he's a very smart person who's very good at games. He just doesn't play the games as often as we do.
Totally, but I'm saying that I think it's a special condition for you that you find him sniveling.
That's true. Yeah, I definitely don't. I like to. I want to make sure Jake's having a good time, and I don't want to. I don't want to like have him be 100 points behind everybody. I don't think that's a fun experience for him. Yeah. So yeah, that is the. I'm sniveling for him.
Right, exactly.
I'm doing the sniveling for
and that is actually maybe
player.
the most extraordinary snivel of them all.
Yeah.
Is when somebody basically uses you to kind of even to appeal to other players.
Sniveler projection.
Wow. Jake is actually maybe the most powerful sniveler of our whole group.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It's very possible.
That all being said, so just as the pros and cons, again,
yeah,
like
to
somebody
snivel or not to snivel.
Yeah.
Where do you stand?
I am stridently anti-snivel when it comes to the kind of, because it's a necessary part of every game. It happens in every game, but it also is so antithetical to board game.
Is it?
Right. In that sense that you want a purity of the gameplay. You want it so that when somebody earns victory, that it feels like everybody's kind of sees the game happening, sees the machinations going on. There's plenty of games where there's hidden victory conditions, but you still want to feel good about the way the game proceeded. And a snivel can really sour both victory and just gameplay. It can come across very easily as poor gamesmanship.
Well, yes. Okay. So there is a line of sniveling that can be crossed, a snivel line. Okay, a line in the snivel. And if you cross the snivel line, then people are going to, it's going to, but you know what?
Table flips.
It's going to be a reverse snivel. Because if that, and we've had that happen many times, when you realize something, you go like, oh, you know what? Screw your snivel. Yeah, no, your snivel sucks right now. I don't want. I'm not helping you.
I would say that.
And
then
and everybody sort of gangs up on that person, and that person realizes like, oh, I sniveled too hard.
That's the thing, though. That isn't a snivel so much as
you're being a sourpuss.
That is a sourpuss.
Yeah.
There is a snivel though where you.
And in a group of loving friends, you can call out a sourpuss. Be like, dude, it's a game. Have a little fun.
But
like,
that's when it has the unintended result. I will say the snivel though, where you snivel and then you win the game. Not the snivel where you like help king make, but you literally like somehow like fooled everybody and you win the game. And again, like I'm going to point out to a specific time that this happened for me.
Go ahead.
Specifically with Paul. Paul did something that was completely in his game space. Like actually not one of those things of just being like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to do something. I don't know what came over me, but I found a place in my heart to appeal to Paul who doesn't.
An on purpose snivel. strategic
No,
snivel?
no. I think because it came from such a genuine,
Oh, it
deep,
was real.
low place.
Yeah.
I was going through some emotional stuff in my life.
Yeah.
The games are oftentimes for me a very sacred, very beautiful place of like purity,
Yeah.
whatever that means. And so I severely feel like I looked at Paul with like puppy dog eyes, and he literally did some crazy backsies, and then like next round I won, and
Yeah.
I don't think I totally knew that I was going to win, and yet at some level I did.
Yeah.
I still to this day feel bad about that.
See, the sniveler is the only one who gets hurt in a snivel.
I appreciate that.
I think the sniveler,
Yeah.
if
When
you're going to
it's-
snivel,
Yeah.
you must be aware that you might not feel good about your snivel afterwards.
Not feel good about the victory.
Yeah, and people might not judge you for it. They might just be like, you know what, Alfred needed that tonight. But you might feel bad about it, and that might change the way you snivel in the future.
Yeah, it did. It totally did. Like, I don't feel like, well, two things. Paul will never let me forget it. Paul will oftentimes bring it up, as it is Paul's want and
See,
way.
sniveling makes great stories.
It does.
Sniveling makes memories.
To circle back to Paul's
Yeah.
recent topic.
So people, here's I'm going to make a grand gesture and statement here. I think the rise of cooperative gaming is because of people's uncomfortableness with the snivel. I think co-op gaming, which is wildly popular and maybe more popular right now than competitive
We're
gaming.
certainly a golden era of cooperative games in the game space.
I think people really love a cooperative game because it absolutely, completely eliminates the snivel.
Well, you say that, but then Jesse. I'm just kidding.
I think I think it can be uncomfortable for people. I think people, in a game where there are winners and losers, some people just like, you know what, this is my downtime. I don't want to feel like a loser tonight. And some people go, to lose doesn't make me feel like a loser. But for some people, to lose makes them feel like a loser. And that is a bad feeling. And then other people start worrying that you're feeling that way. And then that sniveling comes into play. So let's just play a co-op game. Let's just play Pandemic, and we'll all either lose or win, and we can all, there's no sniveling.
Yeah,
there's
you
no
can't appeal to the game space. It is
right,
it is
and that's
tough.
totally valid. If that is the way you want to spend your time, of course, that's wonderful. Like that's cooperative gaming is incredible and beautiful, but I think there's also beauty in sniveling.
And I will say time and time again, the snivel does create a story, like you said, and the things that we go
Yeah.
on and talk about, the things that define our group are oftentimes the group storytelling. And so the snivel, to totally edge it out, to like rule it out and just only play cooperative games is maybe to steal an opportunity for
humanity.
Yeah.
There is humanity in a snivel. Not all sniveling is whining. Sometimes sniveling is just your friends recognizing that you need a win tonight, or your friends, or you realizing that, oh, wow, I've learned a lot about myself from the way I react to winning or losing in games. And I think those have made me a better person. I think sitting there and realizing I'm sniveling sometimes can be good. And I think there's also, all competitive games have a level of negotiation in them.
Yes.
Right? That's the meta. Right? The meta game of any game is what's going on with the players. There is always negotiation. And I think sniveling is a valid form of negotiation. I think, of course, I think it self-corrects, though. I think if there is a line that can be crossed, I think everyone at the table is instantly aware of that line. And if you're good friends and you're close enough, it can be dealt with some friendly jabbing. With just some like, bro, you're sniveling a little hard right now.
And that's the thing too. It's like, don't forget, the snivel isn't always just a personal appeal to the person across from you.
Right.
It is sometimes an appeal to others around you to take down the person who is maybe not doing a snivel, but doing a reverse of that, who is doing some sort of like megalomaniacal winning, maybe playing in some ways poorly. It is a way of taking down the first player in that other way. That is a necessary part of the game space. You can't just have games where somebody's
bash the leader. You got some sniveling is often leads to bashing the leader, right? It's like, why don't do this to me? Do this to the person who's winning. Come on, guys! Like you're letting them run away with it or her run away.
And
with
you can
it.
even do that appeal with play the game properly. And what you were not playing the game properly, you were sniveling to the you were negotiating in the space.
Yeah,
that's it.
So
to snivel or not to snivel? What's the conclusion?
I think, to me, it is. I think it self-corrects. I think you don't have to. I think there doesn't need to be an answer. I think sniveling is totally valid. I think it's a valid form of negotiation. And I think if you cross a line in the sand, I think your group will self-correct. And I think if you are an empathetic, caring person and you don't feel like you won, if there's certain levels of how much sniveling will allow you to win that you might feel bad about. And I think that will self-correct.
And you can change if you have a game group that you play with consistently. I think sniveling is very apt, very appropriate. It actually helps inform the group, if you are with groups you don't play with very often, use that Snivel sparingly.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it is a
Be very
resource.
conscious.
It is a very you have a resource that you don't have too much. Use it too much, and it's going to stop working.
Yeah, you're not going to get called back to the next game night.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Also, like these are all things that are only work in a group of loving friends who care about each other and know each other pretty well.
Heart forward.
Yeah, but I think also like. You learn about a lot yourself. You learn a lot about yourself from the Snivel. You know, like, oh, am I having a rough day? Or sometimes it will do an instant personal check-in. Like, oh, I'm having an emotional reaction to this game right now. It's got nothing to do with the game. What's going on with me? I've had many moments where I've like, oh, I'm stressed out. Or I'm you know what, this other stuff is coming into this game right now. And if you're in a group of loving friends, they might notice that about you. You might bring it up like, guys, I'm actually like, I think I'm having kind of a rough night. And that could lead to a healthy conversation. I think, it's just to deny the Snivel is to deny the humanity at the table.
Totally. And what is the reason we all get together and do this gaming, if not for...
And anytime you're going to have winning and losing involved, there's going to be emotions.
Yep.
And that is we're not robots sitting down here playing optimal chess. We are human beings and we are here at a table. And sniveling is a reality.
Yep.
That is our debate on to snivel or not to snivel. It might be one of my favorite things we've ever discussed on this game.